Senator Ted Cruz heads to a CBP facility, a teacher bullies a student based on race, and Antifa strikes once again. And I have a lot to say about that. Before we get into our lead story, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Conservatives are being censored throughout social media, and so it will help us all get a conservative viewpoint out to others. And also, please don't forget to hit that bell notification button so you are notified every time we upload a video, which is every Monday through Friday. Our lead story comes from our friends over at the Daily Wire. If you're not already a subscriber, please go over and become a member today. They title it, "Watch, Alleged Biden Official Tries to Block Ted Cruz from Taking Photos Inside the CBP Facility." You know, if nothing was wrong, if there was no issues, no problems, if it was sincerely not a crisis, why not take a few photos? Why not make a couple snapshots? Hey, if you remember, Jen Psaki said, hey, we're cool with you guys coming in, but you need to talk to the Department of Homeland Security. Well, it's a little bit odd that now you're not all of a sudden cool with it, and you got a Biden admin here blocking Ted Cruz as well as other senators from taking any photography. They actually wanted other people to come in and take photos of what was going on inside the facilities, and they blocked those people from coming in. But it says here, Senator Ted Cruz shared a video on Sunday of a woman who he identified as a senior advisor attempting to block him from taking photos of migrants who were being detained in an overcrowded U.S. Customs Border Protection facility in Donna, Texas. Now, if you remember, there was a story previously stating that they were putting over 400 children or 400 people in these pods, compartments, that was only supposed to contain around 250. So these people are crammed in there like sardines. They don't have enough space for all these people. And so it already makes sense why they wouldn't want this kind of photography or video being taken of these facilities, because it's inhumane. It's not a right thing to do. Hey, and if you truly thought it was inhumane, you would seal up the border so stuff like this didn't happen. But let's face it, Democrats, they don't care. They just care about the optics of it rather than the actual problem of it. It says here, we sent a photographer along to document it, but he was banned. That's what I was mentioning earlier. Fox News host Maria said he was told, you're not coming. When the senators tried to take cell phone pictures and videos, they too were hassled. Texas Senator Ted Cruz recorded a confrontation he had with a Biden handler sent by DHS to stop them. And let's take a look at what happened.
We sent a photographer along to document it, but he was banned. He was told, you're not coming. When the senators tried to take cell phone pictures and videos, they too were hassled. Texas Senator Ted Cruz recorded a confrontation he had with a Biden handler sent by DHS to stop them. You will not believe this. We are showing it to you right here for the first time. Watch.
Please give dignity to the people. Please give dignity to the people.
So you work for the commissioner, your senior advisor. You were hired 2 weeks ago, and you're instructed to ask us to not have any pictures taken here.
Please respect the people.
Because the political
rules.
Leadership at DHS does not want the American people to know it.
Please don't treat the people.
You're right, and this is a dangerous place.
Please don't treat the people.
And your
like
policies,
this.
unfortunately, are trying to hide them. I understand
That's
you were
all
instructed. When 18 senators came down here,
please respect the people, give them dignity
I
and
respect them, and I want to fix this situation.
We all want to fix
the
this,
administration you're working for is
anymore.
responsible for these conditions.
You got to love that. Give dignity to the people, give them respect, but yet you have them in there crammed side by side in these pods for hours. You're the one that's keeping 1,000 migrant children, at this point more than 1,000 migrant children, over the 72-hour holding period. You're keeping them 10 plus days in these facilities, and they're not even supposed to be there that long. You have over 600,000 people crossing the U.S.-Mexico border in 4 months alone. You're at almost over 13,000 migrant children in these facilities coming across unaccompanied. You don't care about respect. You don't care about dignity. All you care about is the optics of it and getting a vote. That's all you care of this, because if you truly did, again, I emphasize this all the time, if you truly did care, you would just stop this. As always, empathy in politics is harmful. We all care about these people. It sucks what they're going through. Their own country should be fixing it. We shouldn't have to constantly fix other people's problems. They should fix their own problems. And now I understand that's easier for me to say because I am here. Thank God I'm in the best country on earth. I am very blessed because of that. But that still doesn't change the fact that you can't just cut the line and come over here willy-nilly. We all get pissed even on a small level when somebody cuts right in front of us when we've been standing in line for 5 minutes, let alone somebody that's been standing in line for 5 to 10 years to get in this country. And we know that sometimes it's even longer than that. Imagine how pissed you'd be if you were waiting 5 to 10 years for something and then somebody else just got thrown in. I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm just going to get my card and go in, or just I'm going to be in there illegally and I'll figure it out later. Or they'll just give us all amnesty, stuff like that, where there's people that are paying their dues, doing what they need to do to get in this country legally. Where's the respect and dignity for those people? Again, the Democrats love taking care of illegal immigrants, but they don't love taking care of their own citizens. Case in point, what happened with the National Guard being put in a parking garage, but you're going to spend $80+ million of housing illegal immigrants in hotel rooms, paying for their food, water, shelter, education, their legal fees, all that stuff. You care about doing that, but you don't care about the United States citizens. And that's the most frustrating. And I think Democrats are waking up to it. I think they're seeing this stuff now, and they're really seeing the hypocrisy of the Democrats as well as the left on how they handle things. Again, where is all our friends? We're all conservatives for the most part, I would imagine, watching the show. If there's people on the left, that's great, welcome. But where are all our leftist friends posting this kind of stuff on their social media? I guarantee you, if a Trump admin did this to a Democrat senator, it would be blasted all over the media, CNN, MSNBC, Trump's a racist, a Nazi, a sexist, bigot, homophobe. They would throw the whole litany on the Trump admin for doing this. But when it's a Biden admin, it's justice. You know what I mean? It's social justice. Give them the respect and dignity. Where is the respect and dignity that you're giving these people by cramming them in there? You could see in the background that they're literally packed in. They look like taquitos just packed in a taquito box. That's how tight-knit they are. But hey, again, it's just the double standard, the hypocrisy of the left. And it is frustrating because we all have a heart to help people and we want to help people. Conservatives tend to be religious, but when you're pulling this kind of crap, we're just tired of it. We're just extremely tired of it. Now, I look tired, I bet, and I sound tired. It's not because of this. I was in Vegas all weekend. Vegas. It was fun, and I'm paying the price for it because now I'm really tired, which is why we didn't have a Bald Brad show on Friday and Monday. Also, many of you asked why I shaved my beard, kind of going off on a tangent here, but I shaved my beard. I am a referee. I referee ice hockey, and so I had to go out of town. That's why I had to shave the beard. Trust me, I didn't want to. I love it, which is why I'm growing it back. But with that being said, usually the Bald Brad show is every Monday through Friday. Guys, I work full-time. I work like 3 jobs, and I try to record this after work. It is tough. I am dog tired. But I really love doing this. Honest to God, I really love doing this. I think it is important for conservatives to get their viewpoint out there for people. And that's why I ask you, shameless plug, to like and subscribe so that it gives an opportunity for other people to hear stories like this and see the hypocrisy of the left. See the hypocrisy of the Biden administration. And it's by you clicking that like button that's going to do it. I'm not saying I'm the best show. I don't think I'm the best show, but I do think it's important for small voices as well as big voices to get out there and give somebody an opportunity that might not be on our side, the conservative side or the Republican side, to hear this type of story, because we know that CNN, MSNBC is not going to talk about this stuff the way that we do. So let's work together, join the rebellion, and let's try to get this viewpoint out there so all people can hear and see it. In our next story, it also comes from the Daily Wire. It is written by Chrissy Clark. It is titled "Teacher Bullies Student for Taking Colorblind Approach to Classroom Assignment." Chrissy starts off by saying video footage shows a Virginia public school teacher bullying a student for saying he takes a colorblind approach to observing people. And that's a good approach to have. Basically, if you don't know what that means somebody doesn't look at somebody's race. They don't see that there's a black person, a white person, or an Asian person, white person, and a black person. They just see it as people. Now, obviously, they see color, unless maybe they're literally colorblind, but obviously they see the race behind it, but they're not looking at them like that. They just see, okay, it's 2 people that so happen to have dark skin and white skin, or, in between. It says here, a school teacher in Virginia's Loudoun County Public School District, one of the wealthiest districts in the nation, not that that matters, was caught on tape telling a student that it is important to see racial differences when observing people. Let's go ahead and look at this clip.
The story behind this picture. I'd rather hold on to that. Just tell me what this seems to be a picture of.
It's just 2 people chilling.
Right. just two people. That's nothing more to that picture?
Nah, not really. Just two people chilling.
I don't believe that you believe that. I don't believe that you look at this as just two people. I don't think
Truly
you can
is
look
just
at
two
this as
people,
just
though,
two
is it
people.
not?
Yeah, but I think you're being intentionally coy about what this is a picture of.
What would I be being coy about? It's two people standing back to back in a picture.
Yeah, and that's all you see is two people.
I'm confused on what you would like me to speak on in that
I
sense.
don't think you are. I don't know why you do this. I'm not trying to call you out, but you come out off of mute to talk about what this is a picture of, and you act as if there's nothing noticeable about this apart from the fact that they're two people.
Well, I'm confused. Are you trying to get me to say that there are two different races in this picture?
Yes,
is that
I
what
am
you
asking
want
you
me
to
to
say
say?
that.
Well, at the end of the day, wouldn't that just be feeding into the problem of looking at race instead of just acknowledging them as two normal people?
No, it's not, because you can't look at the people and not acknowledge that there are racial differences, right?
But if we're going for, let's say if we're looking for equality within all this, then why would we need to point out things such as that?
Because those differences are real things.
Now, to be fair, the teacher and the student, they both knew what they were doing. The teacher wanted the student to talk about race, and the student knew that, which is why he was playing that game. Look, I am a teacher, so it's very easy for me to pick up on what students are doing if they're kind of messing around with you. But the student is still right at the end of the day that, yes, I see a black person and a white person, or a Hispanic person and a black person, or whatever the race may be. But it really doesn't matter. We see past that as conservatives. We see past that as Republicans. Whereas the Democrats and the left, they hone in on race. And I talked about this in a previous episode. I still don't get it. I don't know why they're so keen on focusing about race, because it doesn't matter. What's in your head matters. Your ideology is what matters. The color of your skin and how much melanin you can produce. Nobody cares on the right, but yet we're the ones that get called bigots. We're the ones that get called racist. We don't care. And we're also very religious, where the left tends to be somewhat religious. But the reason why I bring that up is because it's those values where we look at the individual as a child of God, rather than, oh, you're a black person or a white person or something like that. Of course we see it, but we look past it. And that's not the end destination. The end destination is looking at you as a human being, as an individual, whereas the left is going to look at you as an African-American, Caucasian, Middle Eastern, whatever it is. Again, the right doesn't care about that. But I also want to talk about is I've had this critical race theory stuff pushed on me during my education for my master's degree, when I was trying to become a teacher, where I had to do this exact same thing, where I had to look at photos and I wasn't allowed to use the words black or white. I had to use other colors to describe people of color within the photo. And I wasn't allowed to use certain words. And it was very weird to me. I did it because I was in class, and obviously you need the grade. And there's some different opinions on that of like, oh, do you go with the flow, or do you kind of go against the grain? And I got a ton of stories of me doing my accounting degree, coming back to school years later, and how it completely changed, talking about trigger warnings, microaggressions, all that stuff. I'm like, what is all this? I don't remember all this stuff happening way back when. I'll discuss that later. If that's something you guys are interested in, let me know in the comments, and I could tell you the type of stuff that teachers are learning behind the scenes for their degree and why certain things are being promulgated in the classroom. But that's for another time. But this stuff does get pushed, and it doesn't surprise me that you have a teacher doing this. Now, this isn't the full clip. It's an 1 minute and 46 seconds. So this teacher could have said, look, there's a reason why I'm doing this. There's a reason why I'm looking for a specific answer. And what he should have done here, if I were the teacher and say for some ungodly reason I had to do this, which I would push back pretty hard, and I shouldn't have to do it. I'm a math teacher, so this would never happen. But the purpose of me bringing this up is he should have said, hey, perfect. That's a great point that you're making, is that it's just two people. Race does not matter. But what tends to happen is when people do answer me on that question is that they do see both races in the photo. And then go on a little bit further and say exactly what I said. There are two races here. Of course, there's a person that's tan skin and a person that appears to be pale, like me. I'm very pale. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Yes, there's race, but at the end of the day, these are both human beings, which is what the student said. So you got to learn how to think on your feet. And this guy, I don't know what he's doing, again, from one educator to another, but, I don't have the full context of everything. And I'm always trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. But it is sad to see that this stuff does happen in the school system, and you're kind of pushing the student on it. And the guy's being respectful somewhat, both of them, but especially the student. But again, the student knew what the teacher was doing, and the teacher knew what the student was doing. And at the end of the day, I wanted to cover this story because all of you need to be aware of what your student is learning in the classroom. And just because you don't think that this type of stuff would be taught in, say, a government class or an econ class, it just might be getting taught in there or being woven in and out of it. Even in a math class, sometimes politics does come up. For an example, like a consumer math class is a lot of personal finance, accounting, checkbooks, investing, the stock market, insurance, things like that. And there's a reason why accountants tend to be conservative. And so even how the economy works, conserving certain values that will help you make money, it tends to come across as very conservative. And so people pick up on that very quickly, and they think that you're just pushing a conservative ideology on them, which just in fact, you're not. It's just, we just tend to be right. But in all seriousness, we just do tend to be conservative, and it's just kind of the way things just end up working out. It's not me trying to push a certain ideology on them. It's just basic kind of know-how when it comes to money and investing. You want to have certain values when it comes to making money, and that tends to lean conservative, whereas the left just loves spending money and going crazy. Case in point, Biden spending $1.9 trillion on a stimulus package and now wants to spend $3 trillion. Yes, I said this correctly. $3 trillion. I'll put a card above for you all. Again, I'm tired. Bear with me. But $3 trillion. I did this on a previous episode, and that's minimum. He wants to spend $3 trillion on national paid leave, paying for somebody else's community college education, daycare expenses, all this stuff that the left has been pushing. I call it the leftist wish list. He wants to grant. And so, you're going to see inflation go and all this stuff rise, and he wants to increase the federal minimum wage. And again, the point is that I'm trying to make is they want to spend money where conservatives want to conserve money. They want to actually budget things out. Now, that's the way things are supposed to be. Did Trump do that? No. That's one of the things that I've been upset with a lot of Republicans with, is not budgeting, spending. You need to cut it out. Okay? Not you, the viewer, but the politicians. They need to cut this out. They need to stop now because we're going to pay a price for it. But you see what's going on in the education system from one educator to the viewer. This stuff does happen. You need to ask your kids what they're learning in the classroom. You need to be on top of it because they might be inheriting values that you don't want within your child. And it's going to come out later, and they're going to be one of these people that are breaking windows like Antifa does here. Another article by the Daily Wire: heavily armed Antifa clashes with right-wing protesters outside Oregon Capitol, 3 arrested. So if your son or daughter is inheriting all this ideology from these teachers, this is what they're going to turn into. Antifa waving a flag, bashing, macing people, shooting people, hurting people, lighting buildings on fire. It's not good, and we don't want that. But again, according to Joy Behar and Joe Biden, this stuff doesn't exist, folks. These Antifa people, they're not real. It's just an ideology. If it was an ideology, Joy, if it was an ideology, Biden, would these people have flags? Would they have a logo? Would they be wearing the same type of uniforms as the black shirts did under Mussolini? These people just, they're not in reality. They're not with us. They're like astro projecting somewhere else. They're not here present with us. They're not seeing the same stuff. And it comes across in Biden. Did anybody see that guy's press conference, by the way? Let me know in the comments if you saw Biden's press conference and if you want me to do a reaction of it. I only saw little bits and pieces. I haven't actually sat down and looked at the whole thing. Again, I left for Vegas on Thursday, so I only got little tiny snippets of it. But if you want me to do a reaction, it seems like a lot of people really find those fun when I see a video for the first time that's political and I comment on it. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do that, and I'll do it for a Saturday video. I'll record it this Saturday and I'll upload it. But the dude is just not all there, man. And the guy's been preparing that for weeks, probably just going, and just repetition, pulling from his short-term memory, because I think he's lost his long-term. honest to God, I think he has lost his long-term memory and portions of his short-term. He can't reach back, and even stuff he's grasping, I think he's trained himself to kind of deviate onto things that he's able to pull from a short-term memory, even if it doesn't have anything to do with the question. That's my kind of analysis. Just, we're trained as educators to kind of understand long-term versus short-term. How do people assimilate information? All that stuff. And that's just kind of what I'm picking up for right now. But once I get more on it and I watch it, you know, I'll give you more on that. But here we have Antifa, the ideology. It says here, police have arrested 3 people following a violent clash between right-wing protesters and Antifa members outside the Oregon State Capitol in Salem. Salem police announced the arrest on Sunday following the violent clash. The police press release said that the opposing groups met near the Oregon Capitol building after heavily armed counter-protesters touting Antifa symbols attempted to disrupt a freedom rally of right-wing protesters driving by the Capitol. Authorities arrested 34-year-old Andrew Allen Foy, 33-year-old Nathan McFarland, and 18-year-old Anthony Valendia, I'm mispronouncing that, forgive me, in connection with the violence. Police charged them with violations including trespass, disorderly conduct, and unlawful pointing of a laser. That laser stuff's messed up, man. I've seen those in real life, and those things will blow your eye out, man. Not like literally blow it out, but your eye's done. You're blind for life. So that's messed up. But again, these are good people. These are people that just want the best for all of us. They want to unify with us. Remember Biden when he was elected? Oh, I want to unify with you. I can't even do it today because I am so tired and my voice is done from yelling all weekend. But, you know, they say they want to unify with us, guys. They don't. They don't want to unify with us. They want to point laser pointers at you, beat the crap out of you, stab you sometimes. These are not good people. They're a disease to society. They're not, I personally, even though they're under the title of American, this is not following an American ideology. This is fascist, which is odd because they claim to be fascist. How I describe it, and it's one of actually the first chapters of the book I'm writing, is they are fascists masquerading as anti-fascists. That's all they are. And they are so whacked in the head that they're not able to make the connection and see their hypocrisy, that they're actually carrying out fascist ideology. Now, do they beat the crap out of racists? Yes. Should you do that? No. None of us like racists. Racism is evil. It is wrong. We're all in agreement on that. Are there still some racists out there? Yes. They are small in pockets. They are outliers. I don't believe you should beat the crap out of them. I don't think you should beat the crap out of anybody. I don't think you should hurt anybody. You shouldn't put your hands on anybody. But, you know, they think that stuff's okay. They think violence is okay. And they've been on camera talking to a reporter and talked about that. But that's Antifa for you, is going out, doing crazy crap. But let's see a little bit of video footage of stuff that was going on in Salem. These are just really stand-up people. These are people that you want to unify with, right? These are the people that Biden wants you to unify with because they inherit and have the same values as all of us conservatives and Republicans. This stuff's crazy, man, and it's constant. And Oregon just lets this stuff happen. Seattle lets this stuff happen. I think Oregon is probably the most leftist state that's in the nation. If it's not Oregon, then it's Washington. Not Washington, D.C., of course, the state Washington. It's just, it's rampant. If I was still consulting businesses as an accountant, I'd say get the hell out of there. It's not worth it. It's not, or buy insurance. Get a ton of insurance because your mayor, your city council, your governor, your senator, and lastly, your president doesn't give two craps about you because this stuff's been going on for years. They're letting people take over entire city blocks. You remember Chaz and it turned into Chop because the idiots don't know how to keep a name and actually make things work correctly. But it's just, these people are disgusting, man. And you know, you can't have a conversation with them. They don't want to have a conversation. They just want to beat the crap out of you because they think you're a Nazi. And the thing is, they don't have to prove that you're a Nazi. It's just the fact that you're walking around with a red hat on. They doesn't have to say Trump on it. They're just going to assume you're a Nazi. Hey, you're a white guy. You're a Nazi. Hey, you're a white guy. You're racist. So I'm going to beat the shit out of you. These guys are assholes, man. I don't like cussing, but they are. They're bad people. They're straight up evil people. Now, if one wants to come on my show, which my show's small, nobody wants to come on this thing, but if you know anybody that does, hey, you know, reach out to them. Say, hey, there's this guy, Bald Brad, you should go on the show. But you know, if they wanted to come in and have a conversation, I would. And I would ask them genuine questions like, why do you beat up people? And if you say you don't beat up people, then why are you not standing up against your own people and saying, hey, look, this stuff's wrong. Don't hit people. We need to protest peacefully. And maybe I would take you more seriously, honest to God. If you actually just sat there and protested peacefully and weren't hurting people, I'd actually listen to you and say, hey, maybe you got some good points. Let's take a moment and have a conversation. But I don't take you seriously. I would never take you seriously. I don't take Black Lives Matter seriously. I don't take you seriously. Anybody that burns people's buildings down, anybody that hits people, I just don't take seriously. The Tea Partiers, when we went out and protested, it was peacefully. Heck, we cleaned up the place. We cleaned it up better than it was when we entered the place. But that's not how the media treated us. They said, oh, you guys are racist, Nazis, bigots, homophobes. The whole litany of whatever the list is that they want to call us. But here, they're just all cool with buildings being lit on fire. If you remember that dude from, I think it was CNN or MSNBC, was like, oh, it's mostly peaceful. And there's like 4 buildings ablaze behind the dude, right? Because they look at the American public as idiots. And that's a sad thing. I don't look at anybody that watches this show as an idiot. You are all intelligent people, just as I look at all my students are all intelligent people. We're just lacking in some areas, including myself. I'm not the best person. This is not the best show, but I love doing it. I love getting the viewpoint out there for people to listen to. And people are going to agree with me and they're not going to agree with me. There's going to be conservatives that watch the show and don't agree with me. There's going to be accountants that watch the show and don't agree with me. There's going to be a ton of people, educators. There's going to be people that are Republican that go, I don't agree with that viewpoint. I like you on this point not so much. That's the great thing about it. You get to listen and you learn. There's a ton of people I listen to on the left that I don't agree with, but it's like, hey, you know what? That's something I need to read up on. I'm not sure about that. Whatever it may be. Conversation's important. It's important for the youth to listen to things like this. It's important for adults to listen to things like this. And it's important for us to talk about Antifa and the crap that they're doing, because when you have the media, you have people like Joy Behar, Joe Biden, the Democrats on the left saying these people don't exist as they're going out there destroying lives. This is when that they get bigger and they hurt people. The same thing happened with the fascists under Mussolini. Read up on that. It's in my first chapter of my book that I'm writing. I hope that I could find more time to finish this thing, because I think it's packaged in a way that explains Antifa and fascism and how it formed out of socialism in a very simplified manner, because I think a lot of people have a tough time kind of correlating fascism, socialism, communism, all these isms, and nobody, and at least in my mind, has really broken it down and simplified it for the general public. And that's not me saying anybody's stupid. I struggled to understand it and kind of find the differences between them. And then how does that correlate with Antifa? Why is Antifa claiming that they're anti-fascist, but in reality they are fascists? And how I describe it in the book, just very briefly, is that they are fascists masquerading as anti-fascist. And then I go into detail and basically show the similarities between them and the fascists back in Mussolini's time. But with that being said, it's just disgusting, and we need to get this stuff out there and not promulgate it, but go against it, fight against it so it can disappear. And with that being said, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for bearing with me for as tired as I am. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice, see it in my face, but we got to get this stuff out there. Tired or not, whether you're working 3 jobs or not, I'm a teacher, I'm a referee, I'm an accountant, and I'm doing this show. Actually, I have another YouTube show, believe it or not, that I do that's under the radar, that's monetized, but people find out about that, you're conservative, it gets done away with. But the purpose I'm bringing this up is, guys, work hard, buckle down. For those that claim to be a victim, you need to work hard, tired or not. I don't get paid to do this. If anything, I put money into this, but I love getting the conservative ideology out there. I love all my subscribers. Guys, leave me more comments. We're getting big enough now where the comment section should be loaded up. I love talking to you all. If I don't get to you in the first day, please know that I will get back to you. But leave me something. Let me know how your day's going. Let me know how you and your family been doing. Let me know if you need any prayer requests, things like that. We're a community, and I want there to be more of an inclusive community with my viewers. I would say more than any other conservative channel. I love talking to everybody, and I really appreciate your viewership. Again, please don't forget to like and subscribe, share this video with your friends and your family, and I'll see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show.